The tournament isn't over just because your bracket got busted. There's a second way to play on Novig. Use code Woj and get $50 worth of Novig coins when you spend your first $5. Stop betting on sports books and paying their hidden fees and start trading on America's sports-only exchange and compete with real people on Novig.
I want people to know how difficult it is. And if anything, probably the other coaches get on me a little bit on how rigorous or difficult I can be in some of those recruiting conversations, how overly transparent I can be. You know, if people ask, well, am I going to be the everyday guy? I'm not answering that one with a yes. You got to earn it. Like the playing time goes to those guys who are not older or on bigger scholarships or come from a different background, like a more prestigious background. It's the guys who go out and earn it and have showed consistency in that space.
Welcome into Oregon State baseball coach, Mitch Canham, one of the top coaches in all of collegiate baseball and in one of really the most interesting situations in college baseball, Mitch, having, Oregon State having gotten left behind initially in conference realignment, and then you taking the program and saying, we're going to become an independent and take the sport that is probably the most difficult to schedule anyway, and add some more complications to it. And yet here you are coming off a College World Series appearance, your first as head coach. You did it as a player, of course, at Oregon State, and then back in the top 10 this year. I kind of want to start there with you, Mitch, when you had to decide about how you were going to try to go forward, remain a national power, but do it without a conference. What did that mean? What are the challenges that get laid out in front of you when that's the avenue you got to go?
Well, getting the beautiful task of scheduling an independent baseball schedule for the last couple of years was something completely unknown. But part of what I've kind of been surrounded with my whole life is anytime there's a little bit of perceived adversity or obstacles, I don't know, it kind of fires me up, where this could be something that I've been asking for my entire life, is continuing to honor God and take on difficult things and give it my best effort. Fortunately for me, I have a wonderful team of coaches, players, support group mentors that I've had my entire life and continue to grow in that area that have helped guide me through these things. So if there are moments of doubt, I'm quickly brought back in. I don't know. God is good all the time. And even this morning, I woke up, had a lot on my plate, and I get a couple messages from some close friends that provide that encouraging word to get out of bed and go seek greatness throughout the entirety of the day. And even over here to my side, I got a big picture of Case sitting on the wall, who I'm sure he'll be swinging by the yard here in a little bit today. You know, he's always been a positive person in my life to talk about waking up like a champion, eating lunch like a champion, going to work and being a positive influence in other people's lives like a champion would. So it's a constant thought in my brain of what does it take to be a champion? And if the conference, split up the way that it did, you have a couple options. Do you join these other conferences? And in my mind, what I've always wanted for our players, our coaches, our community, the opportunity to host a regional, a super regional, and go to the World Series and win it all, we got to play the best. And what better opportunity than getting to reach out and try to schedule the best opponents available on any given weekend. So a ton to unravel on that one. It was not a short process, was not super easy, but that's what makes it exciting.
And the process of having the schedules an independent means you are on the road more than you're home, and you're at a school in Corvallis, Oregon, which if you probably had to pick one location in the country to try to make travel easier, it's not Oregon, right? you've got to really get on a plane and go places. And, the travel is difficult to begin with, even if you were in a league, that's got to compound it, right? You've got to be on the road more as an independent, and you're doing it from a place that's obviously not middle America.
Yeah, I mean, to get out to Portland, it's going to take us an hour and 40 minutes. Flying out of Eugene, 40-minute drive down there, so not bad. But at the same time, and some of the teams, we're heading out to Texas again and start the season. We start off in Surprise, Arizona, and then we've done tournaments out in Texas or what have you. But I just remember the time I had in the minor leagues. You're constantly on a bus, you're moving around. I mean, both of our kids before age 6, they had been in 35 different states. Our daughter was born in Pennsylvania. And so keeping our family together, doing this a whole thing together was extremely important for our family. And the experiences that you get, I mean, we spent every day at a playground, we spent every day at a library before the games. And so while we can find things to complain about, that brings no joy, that brings no productivity to it. And I look at it as our guys get to go out and battle on the road. I was talking to uh, Air Force's skipper a while back, and he said we train our guys to fight on the road, for our military to go out and have to travel the world and protect our country. I really liked what he was saying in that sense. Like, we're training these young men to become men and to tackle difficult things, because that's what is going to come at us in life. And we have to make big decisions. And every morning we have a decision. Do I want to feel tired? Because that's your choice if you want to do that. But you also have the choice to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and see the beauty in what God has provided you for this day. And I think of all these road trips as an opportunity for us to get to know each other even better. I think of it as an opportunity for us to learn how to take care of our bodies. These guys want to go on and play professional baseball, or even if they don't want to and they want to take on something else in life, it's always going to get you out of your rhythm, right? It's going to take you away from your process and routines. And so how do you make the best of it for what you got? And you could say, well, the hotel gym doesn't have all the amenities that I could have here back home. Well, that's when you jump into like a little bit of misfit gym and start pulling towels out, bring someone with you, and just getting creative. And what a great space to be in when you can look at something, get creative, just like coaching or anything else. It's all an art form. And waking up with a positive attitude and wanting to attack the day with everything that you have and the people that are with you is an art form, because everyone gets a choice of which route you want to take. And I'm excited that the players we have in the clubhouse, the coaching staff that we have here, they all want to take on, difficult things, because it makes for a better story. And how do you want to inspire? How do you want those kids to see you as superheroes? Like, you're not going to do it just taking the easy route. So let's take on something challenging. Let's make it exciting if we're going to live this life and we only get one chance, right?
The tournament isn't over just because your bracket got busted. There's a second way to play on Novig. Use code Woj and get $50 worth of Novig coins when you spend your first $5. Stop betting on sports books and paying their hidden fees, and start trading on America's sports-only exchange and compete with real people on Novig. Does it take a special player, a special kid, to have that resonate with them to not just come to Oregon State, but your retention's been excellent? I know you had eight players selected in the draft last year off of a College World Series team. Is there a different kind of kid you're looking for who embraces, you know, what the reality is going to be of playing ball and going to school in Corvallis?
Well, there's a saying, gaps in communication are only filled with negativity. And I think that's extremely important to us, is making sure that we are over communicating things. I want people to know how difficult it is. And if anything, probably the other coaches get on me a little bit. on how rigorous or difficult I can be in some of those recruiting conversations, how overly transparent I can be. If people ask, well, am I going to be the everyday guy? I'm not. That's a. I'm not answering that one with a yes. You got to earn it. Like the playing time goes to those guys who are not older or on bigger scholarships or come from a different background, like a more prestigious background. It's the guys who go out and earn it and have showed consistency in that space. Because when I go around town here, and if I see a business close, I take offense to that. Like I'm not doing my job good enough to getting the excitement about athletics and sports here going to a whole nother level where people are flooding in and pouring into the local community. So it's not just about winning games here. There's so much more that goes into that. And I want all of our recruits to know, and our current players, you go to class or you don't practice. You show up to all of your mentorships and tutor meetings and whatever else you have on campus, or you do not practice. You show up to breakfast every day and you go up there and sign in and have a good meal. And if you don't, you do not practice. And so there are standards that we're not going to veer away from, that I want these guys to know. It's not just me being a tush and making you do all these little things. No, man. Like in order to be a champion, we have to do everything right. We have got to pursue excellence no matter what it is that we do. And it meant a lot to me to come to school and to get a degree, and how I was able to use that to start my own company someday and help provide for my family. And I want these young men to leave here um, with that degree in hand, and not just what the paper says on the wall, but I want them to be able to apply everything that they're learning here. The comprehension is huge. And so that's even some of the meetings that I've already had today talking to guys, they're like, I want to take on more of a leadership role. Perfect. That tells me when something comes up, I'm just going to step back. I'm going to go over and nudge them and go, what do you think we should do here? I want you to go handle it. And it may be done the way that I like, it may not, but that's how we learn, is going through these experience pieces in our lives. And um, I there's if we don't sit there, and I think part of the retention piece that we've had from keeping our guys is that we embrace how difficult it is. We don't hide from it. Yesterday was an off day. I am in my office. I was here from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. in case guys wanted to swing by. Now we're doing prep for a game and a series coming up, sure, but really I want to be present. I always thought that was one of the best things that we can do as men for our children, for our spouses, for our our players, is to be present and be willing to have honest, courageous conversations. There's not any conversation that we're going to shy away from. I've learned a ton of that from my wife. I've learned a ton of that from my faith and the people around me. And so it's just being present for our guys, I think, has led to a lot of that retention. And our MDPs, man developing plans. We meet with every guy at least once a month on a high level, talk about academics, we talk about health, strength, and mobility, we talk about the skill, and we talk about character. And we highlight where we're good at and where we need to get better. And that's just a very consistent thing. If a kid's here 4 years, he's going to have 48 of those meetings with us. So it's 48 chances that we can get these guys to become better on and off the field.
Where did you get the idea for a man development plan? Had that been in the program prior to you? Is that something you brought with you or brought back with you to Oregon State when you came back as coach?
Uh, Andy McKay, when he had hired me in the Seattle Mariners, they called them PDPs, player development plans, and we started doing them at our affiliates. I loved them, just spending time with guys. I felt like even when I was in the minor leagues playing, I didn't always, it was like, hey, hit more home runs, but no one explained to me how, the process to do so. So I just kept swinging harder and missing more and more pitches. But it was something that I really loved hearing from Andy about why these meetings were important, how to conduct these meetings, the time, the place, the people that were involved, the amount of prep that should go into these kind of things. And it was something that I enjoyed so much that I continued to do regardless of A ball, double A, working with triple A, big league guys, you name it. And in college, this was like a huge piece of what we were never going to let go here, and what allows for our relationships to continue to grow. And some of those meetings, we don't even talk about the skill on the field. We're talking about life stuff. We're talking making sure that they're in a good like headspace, how their family's doing, what are their goals and aspirations beyond college. And I know sometimes we can get so focused on Case. There's another one. Case told me when I first wanted to jump into coaching, I go, "What's something you wish you would have told yourself, when you started that you know now?" And he goes, "Just never focus on the wins and losses. Focus on the people." And I took that to heart. So the beauty is now not being a player. I don't have a stat sheet. I get to like focus on people and trying to help make them. So even though it may say head coach on the door, really I think of myself as a servant to others, a servant to our players, our coaching staff, their families, the community, the athletic department, the university. And I'm just grateful God has given me this platform, something I've always asked for. Put me at the highest platform that you want me to be at and help prepare me for that platform so that I can go out and give glory to him and all others around us.
All right, guys, before we keep going, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Surfshark. If you're spending any amount of time online, and let's be honest, most of us are there a lot, privacy and security matter. And that's where Surfshark comes in. It's a VPN that encrypts your internet activity, which helps keep your data private and protected, whether you're at home or on public Wi-Fi. One thing that really stands out is how easy it is to use across multiple devices. With a single subscription, you can secure your phone, laptop, tablet, everything without having to think twice about it. And if you travel or want access to content that might be restricted in certain regions, Surfshark also helps you get around those geo blocks. They also offer additional features like blocking ads and malware, so your browsing experience stays clean and uninterrupted. Take control of your online privacy today. Surfshark offers a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out with complete confidence. Secure your privacy with Surfshark. Go to surfshark.com/Woj or use code Woj at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. And you can find that link and code in the show notes as well. Mitch, does it mean more to you and you think your credibility with your players, in how much you believe in Oregon State and believe in the environment and believe in the experience, that because you lived it, and you won at the highest level, you got your degree. From there, you went on, you were to be a top pick in the draft and play um, professional baseball, coaching professional baseball, and then to come back to it. Does that give you something with those guys that is tangible?
You know, I was so and still am so grateful for everyone who was here. Where I was at, I had no idea I was going to play college baseball, and it just so happened a kid got hurt. I never really played summer ball. A kid got hurt, and some coaches back home asked me to come down and play first base because they didn't have a first baseman. I got a job. I got to work. I don't have money to go. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. We need a first baseman. So these guys who are still very close to me now invited me down. I played in this event. I slept on the floor of their hotel room because I couldn't afford a room or nothing. And I had the best weekend of baseball to that point in my life. I think I hit my first home run off the scoreboard. Never hit a home run before. And by the end of the weekend, there's a lot more to that story with some of the games. And we even gotten a bench clear with a team from Canada, White Rock. And the coach, Dan Spencer, comes down and goes, "What do you think about coming to Oregon State?" And I was like, "Me? To play baseball here?" And to have someone like Dan who looked at me and said, "I believe in you." And then to meet Case and him to also say, "I believe in you." And to watch Case out there tamping home plate, the head coach is out there working his tail off. I just, someone believes in me to do this. And so I just kind of went all in on baseball from that point, wanting to improve. And then meeting the professors here on campus, meeting Jess Lewis, who's wrestled here and played football here, is a hero of mine, and who had a class drugs and sports and helped me with the loss of my mom when she died my first day of college from a drug overdose. And so I was just kind of spinning. I'm in a different state. I knew no one. I'm not very good at baseball at that moment. I was still just trying to figure out if I played right field, third base, first base. Had 2 surgeries my freshman year. And so I never forget how hard the freshman year is and all the other stuff away from the sport that just really is difficult. And I wasn't coming here on a massive scholarship by any means. I was working for the grounds crew trying to make some money, and it just became so powerful, like what family was, what my dad always said, like, family's not just blood, it's who you surround yourself with. And this became my family, and I am very protecting of my family, my wife, my kids, my dad, my brother, you name it. And this place is that. And so everyone knows, like, myself and the guys that are on coaching staff all played here as well. Like, we all love this place and we're going to give everything to it. And so when you can, I do believe people can see and feel that genuine passion when you come visit it and see how we talk about this place and how protective we are. I don't care how good the player is. If he's not a great person and he's not going to be a productive part of this family, then it's just not going to work out. And so it's not always about, you know, Baseball America's top 100 list and who should be rolling in here. Who's right for us and who can we really help impact? So when guys have some baggage or some difficult moments, like, I don't know, I feel like we gravitate towards those guys a little bit more because we want to help them. And each of us have gone through difficult things that this place, brought us back into the light and allowed us to shine. And man, I just feel like that's a huge drive for us. That's why we can't stay in bed. There's no time for that because we're missing an opportunity to really impact someone else's life.
Mitch, this was amazing. You've got a game to prepare for tonight. Appreciate you taking time out for us on a game day as you guys, continue your journey to try to get back to the College World Series. We'll be watching this year. Wish you the best. And thanks again for joining us, Mitch.
Thank you for having me. Go Beavs.
All right. Thanks again to our guest this week on the program, Oregon State coach Mitch Canham. Be sure to catch a new episode of the program every Wednesday.